Here are some of the hardest Edexcel inequalities questions. Do you know how to tackle this one? The context here is we've got a rectangle and a right angle triangle. The area of the rectangle is greater than the area of the triangle. So that's already telling me that's where my inequality is going to come from. And the context is area. So let's write down the areas. So think about how you'd work out the area of a rectangle and use the sides they've given you. Area of a rectangle is length times width. So I'm just going to multiply those two together, which is then greater than the area of the triangle, which is half base times height, or base times height over 2, whichever you prefer. Now I can almost forget about my context for a little bit. Because they've asked us to find a set of possible values of x, that's basically just saying solve it. So let's expand everything. I'm going to end up with a quadratic overall, so I'm going to move everything to the side where that quadratic, that x squared, would still be positive. So I'm going to subtract the x squared. Now I'm going to solve it by trying to factorize. For now, I'm just going to write equals to 0. I'm going to solve it and then bring back my inequality at the end. So we've got x is either a half or 2. When we're given two answers, but we actually have a context, so this in this case shapes, normally one of them is not actually valid. So thinking about my context, do both of my answers work? Well, if you imagine substituting in a half, x minus 1, that would give you minus a half. We can't have a negative side length for any shape. So do you see how that means the half answer is invalid? Now though, we need to put our answers back into an inequality. So given that the inequality was facing towards the quadratic and away from 0, that would normally mean that I would get two separate answers. X is less than the smallest one and x is greater than the biggest one. We've already just said that the half is invalid, so ignore that solution. Therefore, the set of possible values for x is greater than 2. If you found this helpful, make sure to check out the GCSE Maths Pro YouTube channel where you can find full videos going through everything that we've just seen.